Welcome back. You're listening to the discussion about NITAAC's contract guide. I'm Jason Miller. This is an effort between NITAAC and Federal News Network to really highlight all the programs and vehicles that NITAAC offers. We are talking with Brian Goodger, the acting director of NITAAC, as well as the associate director for the Office of Logistics and Acquisition Operations at NIH, Ricky Clark, the deputy director of NITAAC, and Erin Pacifico, the contracting officer for NITAAC's assisted acquisitions. Now, Erin, we just finished up about GSS. We're going to have you put on your other hat, which is where you actually, I think, work, which is in assisted acquisitions. This is a term we hear quite often. Hey, we can help you do your acquisition. And I think most people know what it means, but let me just ask you, give me the 30-second blurb. What is assisted acquisitions? How does it work? Why do you offer it?
Right. Thank you so much for having me today. So NITAAC assisted, that process is where customer agencies throughout the federal government come to NITAAC, our special branch on assisted acquisitions, to ask for a contracting officer to actually do their buy for them. And we're special at NITAAC Assisted Acquisitions because we only procure off of our own GWACs, and unlike other assisted acquisition shops, we only procure information technology. So those assisted acquisitions are actually through an interagency agreement between the requesting agency or the customer partner and ourselves as the servicing agency.
So you only buy IT. So you are the help desk at your house, I'm sure, right? Your family calls you up and says, Erin, you buy IT every day. My laptop isn't working. And your answer is probably like, go to Best Buy or fill in the blank and buy a new one. I can do that for you right now.
Right.
But talk to me, why is that important that you all only buy IT?
I think it's very important because our contracting officers and specialists are really very embedded within information technology and the nuances associated with that. Every single contracting officer and specialist at NITAAC Assisted is DITAP certified. And for those who don't know what DITAP is, it's the Digital IT Acquisition Professional Certification through USDS and OFPP. All of our contracting officers are level 3 certification, as well as the DS. And we are very well versed in FAR 16.505 procurements where the GWACs sit.
Hey, how'd you know? You mentioned my favorite part of the FAR again. The DITAP is really interesting. Now, there's we've heard about this over the years. Again, we covered it, and then it kind of got real quiet. But it seems you're going, why is that certification so helpful, so important to ensure that you are buying technology, you understand how to buy technology?
So the DITAP certification is actually going to be mandated sometime in 2022 for all contracting officers who predominantly do information technology buys. So that really does make it very important. And it's one of the reasons why we do see customer partners coming to us for assisted acquisitions.
I think that's a key piece there, that this is something that's going government-wide. It's shown great success. One of the things about assisted acquisitions that a lot of agencies get turned off by is, why am I going to pay you to do something I have people that I can do myself? Help me understand that there's what is the benefit of coming to an assisted acquisition besides the fact you guys are DITAP certified?
Right. That's a very good question. Actually, people come to NITAAC Assisted for a lot of reasons. One of them is sometimes they just don't have the manpower to do those buys that they need a really quick turnaround on, especially in fourth quarter. And a lot of times the second reason is that they really don't have that in-house expertise. So a lot of contracting shops don't focus on information technology. They're doing all kinds of buys all over the place. And let's face it, information technology buys can be very difficult with software builds and all of the new types of technology that's coming out all of the time. So unless you're embedded in it, it's hard to keep up.
And now you adding all the requirements that are coming from the cyber executive order that are going to apply, like a software bill of materials or some of the FAR provisions that are coming out. If you don't understand why that's important or how it works or where it belongs, if you will, it's not just, hey, add it to the end of the all these other provisions that already exist. I think that's the other piece that is adding more complications. And where agencies are buying more and more IT. We saw that with the pandemic. Did you see an increase during the pandemic in terms of services asking for your help because they needed to get things out the door quickly?
Yes, our fourth quarter actually last year was 83% of the total the total awards made in terms of dollar value under assisted acquisition. So it was really vigorous last year. And actually, first quarter of this fiscal year is the largest in terms of dollar value for buys on assisted since we started back in the 2014-2015 timeframe.
It's interesting. I could see if you told me third quarter last year, maybe fourth quarter, but it's interesting that bled into the first quarter of 2021. Do you get a sense of why? And has it kept up at a pretty strong pace throughout 2021?
Well, we do see a lot of those, I would say, urgent, last minute buys in fourth quarter that we're kind of experts at dealing with. But I think some of the first quarter awards were really due to much larger buys that were in progress during the prior year.
Ricky, you've been quiet for a little while. Let me bring you back into the conversation. One of the things about assisted acquisition services, I'm going to throw the same question to you as I kind of did to Erin. As someone who used to run a contracting shop, was assisted acquisition attractive to you, or did you feel like, well, why am I going to pay Erin 2% when I could do it myself? Walk me through why this is an important feature that NITAAC is offering.
I'll answer that by saying I've had known, I've definitely been a customer. When you're in the acquisition shop, a lot of times, as Erin has stated, you don't have the resources, and the resources that are available are stretched so thin that they may not have the expertise in the IT arena. So if I could have known that, I had the someone like Erin or someone that's DITAP certified to do the acquisition for me, it would have saved my poke. Everything. We're 1102, so everything's based on time. To me, time is money. So if we could have reached out and been a fan or been a user of the GWAC, I definitely would have, because for me, time is money. And let me add this also, back in 2017, when President Trump implemented the infrastructure upgrades, we were like running around with chickens with our head cut off, trying to figure out, how we're going to do this. So if I had that vehicle at the time, it would have been, a godsend for me. So I would have been a big fan. I'm definitely a fan now because I'm on board.
I always tell people when they're like, oh, well, I change my own oil. And I always tell people, I could change my own oil too, but I'm not very good at it. It would take me very long. Or I could take it to, I always joke, the Jiffy Lube, right? Jiffy Lube could change my oil, and that they're experts, and I'd rather pay for the expertise than try to figure out how to not make a mess and have oil all over my shirt. Brian, jump in here too, because one of the things that Erin brought up was this 83% increase in the fourth quarter of last year, and then the first quarter continues to be incredibly busy. How does NITAAC keep up with all that volume and all that business? How do you have enough contracting officers or even enough industry folk who are experienced enough to deal with it?
Sure. So our assisted acquisition staff they're stars. They're some of the best contracting officers you'll find in government. Erin, in fact, is star among stars. So we have a pretty rigorous interview panel selection to place personnel into that section. And again, as Erin stated, customers come to us for a couple different reasons. We know the vehicle, we know IT, pretty decent fees, but the last and probably most important of which is, again, the customer service. We hold our customers' hands, we walk them through the process, we help them with building their ACT package, we give them tools and templates, we scrub them for them. We very much act like we are sitting right next to them in their office, embedded with their program office. And we've received nothing but the highest of accolades back from our customers on the assisted acquisition program and the staff's ability to meet their needs and normally pretty significant adverse time constraints. So it's a credit to them and how resourceful they are, and again to their 1102 knowledge, but again, being a people person and providing that customer service.
So Brian, but it brings up the bigger discussion. One, do you have enough people? But two, how do you ensure that Erin doesn't get stolen by somebody else? Because I think a few contracting shops now may be calling her and emailing her, asking her if she wants to jump ship. How do you avoid that too?
Absolutely. Some people I go to and I say, you're going to do this one. To Erin, I say, would you like to do this one? Erin gets to decide based on who the customer is and how complex the project is, if it's exciting, if it's something she's never done before, knows the program office. So she has complete discretion as to her workload.
And then are you able to hire enough contracting officers to keep pace, or enough industry folks with experience?
Well, it's interesting you asked that. So we've pretty much reached our fill in assisted acquisition federal staff, but one of the interesting solutions we take advantage of that some contracting officers do and some others because they don't feel comfortable is we have in-house contract specialists who do a lot of the work except sign and make decisions. So they might pass to somebody even like me who still has an active warrant who will sign. And those in-house assisted acquisition contract specialists are normally people who have retired from the 1102 series, some of which are from DoD, who do a lot of our DoD work, or have spent a significant amount of time in the 1102 series. So they're quite skilled. And we believe in them. We trust in them greatly, and they have been able to advance the program and make it what it is today.
So Ricky, I got to bring you into this now. As the new deputy director of NITAAC, does that mean you're still going to get to use your contracting warrant? You're still going to get to sign your name on the dotted line of a contract?
Well, being that I'm working for Brian, I won't have the choice. so if he's doing it, I definitely have to. So I'm looking forward to it.
All right. We don't want you to get rusty. I mean, that's really was my concern. All of a sudden, you get thrown back in. I imagine the fourth quarter is going to be a busy time. Erin, let me just end this segment with the question I've been ending all of them with is as we get again closer to the fourth quarter, as agency customers continue to ask questions about assisted acquisition, what should they keep in mind? Why should they come to you and take advantage of your expertise?
Sure. We are here to help our customer partners. Our general PALT time is 90 days, but we frequently get that down to about 45 because we do have seasoned contracting officers and specialists that can ensure that your IT acquisition is streamlined. It's very agile, using lots of different types of techniques such as oral presentations, down select, comparative analysis that really helps streamline the process. And we can ensure that you do receive the best value.
All right, I love you brought up PALT. It's the new acronym we're all going to have to get used to. So thank you for doing that. All right, let's take another quick break and we come back. Brian, now we're going to talk about CIO-SP4 as we come back. But first, as I said, we'll take a quick break. You're listening to a discussion about the NIH contract guide with Federal News Network.